Hello everyone in the School Law Administration class. This video will explain the different resources that the West Library at Texas Wesleyan University has for you to use on school law administration. But first, you may want to know who I am. Well, my name is Dennis Miles, and I am a reference and instruction librarian at the Eunice and James L Library at Texas Wesleyan University. Here is the table of contents for this video. It tells you the time frame in the video where you can access each topic listed in the table of contents below, so that you can go to just the part that you want to watch if you want to. Before I talk about what library resources that the West Library has, I first want to discuss what the law is and the difference between primary and secondary sources of the law. What is the law? There's three main kinds of law. There's legislative law, case law, and administrative law. In legal research, we need to distinguish the difference between what is called primary sources and what are called secondary sources. Primary sources in legal research constitute the actual law itself. In contrast, secondary sources offer commentary, background information, and guidance on the law, often directing researchers to relevant primary sources, though they do not themselves constitute law. Now I will talk about the legal resources that the library has, both primary and secondary sources. I will do that by introducing you to the online guide that I created for this course. This guide contains information on print resources and also links to online resources on the law. On the screen is the address to the guide and also a QR code link to the guide that you can scan with your phone. Now we will go to the online guide. On the guide, primary legal sources are found on the main page under the heading Most Used Resources, and then we go to the Primary Sources tab. And when I click on the Primary Sources tab, you will see links to primary sources for legislative, administrative, and case law. We have the United States Code and the Texas Education Code under legislative law, and then under administrative law, we have the Code of Federal Regulations and Texas Administrative Code. Under case law, we have Nexus Uni, which we will visit more a little bit later. In the guide, I have also included secondary legal resources. If you click on Books and eBooks, you can see some examples of secondary legal resources. We have the Deskbook Encyclopedia of American School Law, the Encyclopedia of Education Law. Another kind of secondary source is law reviews and journal articles. Under databases here, we have three journal databases: Education Source, Legal Collection, and Legal Track, where you can search for and find journal articles on legal topics. Now we move on to Nexus Uni, the most important database that we have on the law. You can access Nexus Uni by going to primary sources in the guide, and then under case law, click on the link to Nexus Uni. You are taken to this page next, where you click on the yellow button, Access Online Resources. Next, you will be taken to the Microsoft login page. Type in your username, which is your Texas Wesleyan email address. Or you can just click on your email address if it is already displayed, like it is here. Now you need to approve your sign-in request by typing in the number in the center into your Microsoft Authenticator app on your phone. If you want to learn about the Microsoft Authenticator app, you can contact the Computer Help Desk at 817-531-4428. Once you are done using the Authenticator app, you will see the Nexus Uni main page as is shown on the screen. Now, a little bit about Nexus Uni. Nexus Uni has three parts: a current news database, a business information database, and a legal information database. The legal information database contains case law opinions from the United States Supreme Court, federal district and appellate courts, and cases from all 50 states. To access the legal information database in Nexus Uni, you need to click on the legal link. Now under legal, under content type, you will notice that we've got cases. We also have statutes and legislation, administrative codes, law reviews and journals, and also we can access legal news all in this one database. Also, under practice area or industry, we have education law here. But in this class, your focus will be on case law. So I will click on cases on the page. There are many ways to search for cases in this database, but to keep it simple, I will search for the Supreme Court case, Tinker versus Des Moines Independent Community School District as my example. On the search results page, there are 5 results, and the first one appears to be the Supreme Court opinion that was decided on February 24th, 1969. So we'll click on that case. Now, what I think that is important on this page for you is this Shepherd's area on the right. By using this over here, you can find out what has happened with a court decision by finding out if the decision has been overturned, questioned, reaffirmed, or cited by later cases. This service is called Shepherd's Citation. You can see here that there have been 2,847 other cases that have cited this Supreme Court case. There's also other citing sources. There's over 7,000 other types of resources. If I click on this citing decisions link, I am taken to the list of 2,847 other cases that have cited the Tinker versus Des Moines case, starting with other Supreme Court cases. If I click on other citing sources, I am taken to a list of other sources that have cited the Tinker versus Des Moines case, such as statutes, law reviews, and court filings. Using Shepherd Citations feature in Nexus Uni, you can find out if the case is still good law by finding out if it has been overturned. And also you can find out the history of a case through later cases. Now a brief mention of some other school law sources on this guide. Under the Law and Legal Resources link in the guide, you can find some excellent law guides that contain primary source law and a lot of good secondary source material on school law. We have Find Law, Legal Information Institute, Justia, and ABA Journal. Then under the Government Agencies tab, we have 2 government agencies that contain useful information on school law. The U.S. Department of Education page contains information on federal law regarding education, and the Texas Education Agency contains information on education law in the state of Texas. That is the School Law Administration Guide in a nutshell. I hope that it will prove useful to you in this class. On the screen are the instructions on how to get to the guide from the library homepage. This is the end of this video. Good luck in this course. Here is my contact information again, in case you may want to contact me.